Hey guys, today I'm gonna show you how I wrote the song Sakura from my band Primony. We're gonna break down the writing process, show you older versions of the song, how I came up with the riff and the theme ideas. So jumping right into it. So everything starts off with the piano and the main harmony. And at the time, that was over a year ago, my friend was showing me the song and she was explaining to me the story behind the song, that is actually a guy trying to convince himself to not take his own life with a girl figure that he kind of falls in love with, but is all in his head. And I thought it was very interesting and also so heavy. And I was like, wow, how can something so fast and uplifting also be so heavy and emotional? So I really got inspired by that, and I tried to use the same J-pop inspired elements like the pianos, the fast beats, and especially the harmony. That's where we have this piano harmony right here. If we play just the root notes, we have then I just turned these root notes into seventh chords, adding more notes in between them, so it sounds it's like the final version. Now that we got the harmony down, it was time to come up with the melody. And this is the melody that pretty much repeats over the entire song, which is this higher piano part right here. Really simple but really catchy, and it matches really well when you put the melody and the harmony together now. One thing that is worth mentioning is you can see that it's kind of stiff here, but in the final version, instead of quantizing everything, having everything right starting the beginning of the beats, what I did is you kind of offset the piano keys a little bit, so it sounds a little bit more human. You're kind of putting the human motion into it, so it sounds more like, that kind of sound, and it sounds way more natural that way. So that was where everything started, and since we have the harmony and the melody now, the next element is the rhythm. And whenever I'm writing songs, just to keep it simple, I always start off with electronic drums, just making a simple beat, just so I can feel how the song is going to turn out, and not to get too heavy into production making. What I do for creating beats is I just have the samples, I open up the samples in Contact, so I have a kick right here. That's how I did mine, but you can always just drag and drop and have the kick be like this. Where is it? And then you can just copy and paste it and make a beat out of it. But in this case, I just MIDI'd it out just because that's what I did at the time. Then I did the same thing for the snare, and eventually the hi-hats right here. So now we have the full beat of the song. Also, it's important to notice that for the bass, I have it kind of always match the kick. They kind of complement each other with a little bit of side chaining. And if I put the whole beat together with the piano, we have And now, last but not least, because I made quite a few videos on my Instagrams teaching how to write a math rock riff, so grabbing that piano melody, I just literally transcribed everything onto guitar and I made a riff out of it. But basically, even if you have just the harmony and melody notes playing it really slowly, you can already kind of hear the riff, you know? Eventually I just turned those notes into the riff and we have the final kind of scratch of the song. Now from that, jumping onto a newer version of the song, we now have added some new layers and elements and risers and some white noise behind everything, so we can kind of have a more fuller and way more impactful version of the song. So besides the main beat and guitars, now we have orchestra and strings and horns and everything, so it sounds way more fuller like. Also with the back guitars. So for the orchestra section, I kind of kept it simpler, at least for this version, because I haven't made everything up yet. We have this right here with the metronome. I also added some like bell sounds to kind of highlight the fast notes from the guitar, which you can kind of hear when I bend this left and right, kind of alternating between each other just to add more texture to the listener. You have like, which are literally just the guitar notes but laid out on the bells. And then here's where I started to add more guitar layers to the song. And those two were interesting because I have them panned left and right. So the left is doing 1 octave. And then the right one is doing higher octave. So when you have those two play themselves together, just adds a lot more depth. And just so since it's an instrumental song, we have no vocals, we need those elements to make it interesting for the listener, especially if you're hearing the song in headphones or with good monitors. And now jumping onto an even newer version of the song. I'm pretty sure this was the demo right before mixing and mastering. We now have a bunch more guitars. We have the actual recorded guitars for the final mix. We have way more orchestra and way more samples and effects. So now I want to play everything that's behind the song except for guitars and drums, because those are the ones you hear the most. And so you can hear a little bit of the song without all of that in-your-face elements to it. So yeah guys, that's how I wrote Sakura, pretty much just breaking element by element, showing versions of how I started building the main theme and then building up the riff, to then adding more orchestra and layers and beats and this and that. If you guys like this type of video, please let me know down in the comments and comment any of the other songs that you want me to also break down and show how I wrote them. Today I just did the main riff, but if you want to see the full song breakdown on a super long video, I have it available now on my Patreon, so you can sign up. The link is on my description. Also, the link for the merchandise and tab store if you want to learn the riffs is also in the description. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.